I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Hilary.
And this is the Hard Truth Podcast. Hey, Amy.
Hi, Stephanie.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Hilary, I introduced you to Amy earlier,
Yes.
but I'll tell you a little bit about Amy. She's from Wisconsin, and originally, correct?
Yes.
And I met her about, I'm going to say 3.5 years ago. She's a coworker. We worked in the same office. Now she works across town, and she gets to experience all the fun that I used to.
Oh, wow. Can only imagine.
She has to deal with the truck drivers that hated me. Now they hate her instead. So anyway, wanted to ask Amy to come on the show tonight and give her take of obviously love, relationships, sex, and any life experiences that she wants to share with us. We're going to kind of wing it tonight and ask her some questions. Amy's got a pretty interesting past when it comes to relationships and dating and all that. So I'll hit you up and I'll ask you, obviously, are you currently in a relationship?
I am currently in a relationship.
And how long have you been in a relationship?
2 years.
2 years? I guess it has been that long, hasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah. Because, you started dating him. Yeah. You started dating him before you even moved across town, right? Weren't you in the office with me?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so, yeah. So, and how'd you meet him?
I met him on a dating app, believe it or not.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. All right, so which dating app did you meet him on?
I met him on Bumble.
See, that's the one that I don't know if you've listened to the other podcast.
I did.
But I tried Bumble. I literally paid for it. Everybody knows I paid for it for a week. I stayed on there for 24 hours. That was it. And so you had to message him first.
Yes.
I learned that. But that's not normal, right? That's just Bumble.
That's just Bumble.
Did you ever get on Bumble?
A long time ago.
Did you have to message people?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
She said, yeah, no.
I mean, I did it, but I literally and I said this in the other podcast, I told the whole experience. I literally messaged 4 or 5 guys, and I chose them for weird reasons because I can't just pick people based on how they look, whatever. So tell us a little bit about Bumble, how long you'd been on there, and how you met him.
Was he the first guy that you saw?
Give us a little history here.
I think I was on Bumble for about 3 months, and I had messaged certain people,
How many people you think you'd messaged at that point?
Probably only 6.
You're a brave girl.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
But it was at a point where it's you just got to dive in because that was how how dating is going.
Yeah.
Right?
So I didn't know, me having been married. You were married. How many times were you married?
Scott, my husband that passed away, that was my 3rd marriage.
There's 3rd marriage.
Yes.
So you've been married several times. And how long had it been before you started dating again?
It was a good 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So you've been out of the dating scene for 2 years. But prior to that, you were married for several years.
14 years.
So you probably were going through the same shock that I was.
Yes.
Because everything changed.
Yep.
Yeah. So here comes Bumble. So, what made you choose Bumble? And where did you know you were going to have to message men?
I did because my daughter was the one who was kind of pushing me to get back in the game and just go meet someone so you have someone to hang out with.
Right.
So you're not doing things by yourself. I have a bunch of great friends, but most of my friends are married. So it's always, that makes it very
you feel
difficult.
like the third wheel.
And we'll always tell everybody in the town that we live in, no, there's nothing to do. No, that's why I drive. Yeah, I just go hang out with my friends in another town. Well, I did that for a whole different reason, but Hilary will tell you, you're not dating anybody in this town. For the most part, you got lucky that you did.
Right.
And he doesn't even live in this town, does he? He lives a town over or a county over or something. So, so you took the plunge. Now, did you start with Bumble because she told you to, or did you get on multiple sites?
No, I started with Bumble just because of...
That's what she recommended?
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And then, because my kids were all on Tinder.
And don't get on the hookup site.
They were all that's the hookup site. So I was like, what? And
so is Bumble really not supposedly the hookup site? It's a little more tamer.
I think they portray that but I really think that if you want to go and get get a hookup, you can get a hookup on there.
Anywhere,
Yeah, because there were people on there that I was just like,
No.
you know, that would come off, you know, like talking, hey, you want to meet up? No, I don't want to meet up to have sex with you. That's,
Or I don't even want to meet up yet because I don't know anything about you.
Right. So it's just like, and you know, I was new here.
Yeah.
I was only here a few years, you know, so I didn't know anyone.
Scared to death.
You know, where you've been here your whole entire
Still
life.
scared to death.
Yeah, so you know, it was difficult, you know.
Yeah. That's brave of you though. So she warned you that you'd have to message them, and so like after you joined, did you start swiping stuff?
Yeah, and I would just see what was out there.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of had an idea in the back of my mind of what I was looking for, you know, because, you know, Scott told me, like, we had 5 weeks, you know, 5 weeks when we knew that,
He wasn't going to make it.
He was not going to make it, you know. So he said, you need to go find, you know, make sure you find someone.
Yeah, I would want the same thing for my loved one or whatever too. I wouldn't want them to be by themselves. I can get that. So he's trying to figure out, and he knew that it was going to be hard probably because I mean you've been in a relationship for so long.
Correct. You know, I didn't know, you know, and once I got out there, it was like, that was a whole nother, like, why do I even want to do this, you know?
See, that's what I was like, nah.
There were a couple that were like, no, like, absolutely.
So did you do like me? Did you just like only message the ones that you were interested in? Did you like take a dive and pick so many and just message them and kind of pick some ones maybe you wouldn't have necessarily picked? Because you didn't know their personalities. And I think that makes a big difference.
Correct. And I kind of went different than what I'm used to because I had not had very good experience with relationships in the past.
Right. I mean, obviously you got to have some kind of physical attraction, obviously, to message them anyway. But I think, like you've heard me, if you listening to the podcast, say that like there can be the hot guy that you're going after on the dating site, but he's probably the bad boy and he's probably messaging everybody and he's hooking up with everybody.
Right.
Or you can pick somebody that you think's halfway attractive. You probably could work with it if he's got a great personality. How do you know till you message him?
And that's why you just got to kind of feel it out, you know, when you start texting with them, you know, and it's not, you know, it's not like I would, you know, we would text for weeks or whatever, and then, you
before
know,
you even went out.
Yeah, to get that feeling, like,
do
you think this is safe? And it's always going to be in a public place. There's no way that I would
you're not getting to know stage.
Yeah, not do a public
And in a public place, you can always, like, excuse yourself to the restroom and just not come back.
And
I mean, I know that's
walk out
rude.
the door.
I mean, I know that's rude and all, but sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah. I'm not afraid of anything at all. They would send me back. They wouldn't want me.
I ain't gonna lie. Me and Amy probably qualify for that too.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I always tell everyone if anyone ever kidnaps me, they're going to bring me right back after about 10-15 minutes.
That's going to be me. Like, where are we going? Are we there yet?
So how many guys do you think you talked to or in the get to know stage before you met the guy you're with now?
I would say it was probably 6.
Did you talk to?
Yeah.
Did you go out with any of them?
I did go out with 2 of them.
And how that? You want to tell us about anything you want to share about that, or not really? Wasn't very interesting.
It wasn't very interesting, and you know there was one that was maybe hopeful, but he had way too much baggage, and I wasn't ready to, you know, get into all that baggage.
See, that's the thing. I think I would be like, first of all, like you're talking to him. I just picked 5 people, but I mean, I wasn't like excited to go out with any of them. And so like, for me, it's like, oh, this is going to be a chore, you know, kind of thing. And so it's like, man, now I don't even want to mess with this. And then like, if I had found one and went out with one, I think the minute they opened their mouth, I'd be like, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's a waste of my time. I don't think I told Hilary, and I need like the 5-minute. Is it 5 minutes? Yeah, it's not 5 seconds.
5 seconds. You have 5 seconds to impress me.
It's the 5-minute speed dating or something, which I don't think they do that anymore. Hilary was looking it up for me because I thought about we wanted to do that for my birthday because I thought that'd be interesting to go somewhere, even if it was like Charlotte or something, and do that. And she sent me a thing the other night. It's all online now. I'm like, I look terrible online.
Virtual dating. That's what
I look terrible online. I'm like, I want to like be in that space with them and go, hey, yeah, okay, see you later, you know, kind of thing. and I don't even want to take the time of sitting down and go to dinner with somebody unless it's somebody I already know. I mean, that's just the way I feel, and that's why I haven't dated anybody. I just cannot get in that frame of mind. So those 2 dates didn't go well, but you did stick it out, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Did
So
you talk to him again after
Did
that?
you get like an ick, or what was it that kind of?
The one guy was like, I mean, we were both very interested in each other, but what he wanted out of the relationship to what I wanted out of the relationship was two totally different things. And I was like, yep, nope, check out.
So, like, is he wanting, like, to be married right away or move away? Or
no, he wanted
open relationship.
He wanted open relationship, too much baggage, you know, and, you know, non-committal. And that's not going to work for me because, you know, I'm not going to do that.
A lot of women are not going to do that, yeah.
And being where I was in my life, you know, it's really hard when you lose someone. You know, going through a divorce is hard. But then going through the death of a spouse is completely different because there's so many things that were left unsaid that were not said. And so then you're still dealing with that baggage.
And then now you need somebody you can count on.
So, right. So now you're trying to figure out, okay, so what is it that I'm really looking for?
It's not like, okay, well, I mean, I need to get the faucet fixed on Tuesday. Is he available? Because, like, on Wednesday, he's with so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? You don't need an open relationship. You need somebody you can count on.
Yeah. And I knew kind of what I was looking for. And in my mind, I'm not ever getting married. I mean, it's just not in the cards for me. I've done that. I've failed at it. It's just not anything that I really need to do.
I failed at it for a very long time, so I feel like I don't need to do that again. I think there's still hope for this one.
But I still think, I mean, deep down, I think there's hope for you. I just think that you still need some time.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of other issues too.
Correct. So I just think that, you know, it'll come for you. It's just, there's just too much right now. I think of the kind of healing that you need to do is like long term because
that's true.
You know,
it's not going to be an overnight fix.
No, and it's years down the road. I truly believe.
I told her that, but she feels like she's okay, but it takes a while.
Yeah, because you have to realize that you are worth it. You are, you know, you for years you.
Well, I constantly tell her, I mean, every podcast, I'm not settling. I want someone who puts me first. The problem is I can say that all I want, but I never expect that. So it's like, that's why I know that it's not going anywhere because I'm not going to get that.
You can't really say that though. It could possibly happen.
I mean, you could get somebody that does that, but it's got to be somebody that I want to do that for me.
Correct.
And
they could show up. They could show up. You know, it's just, I mean, like you and I were talking about my current relationship.
Yeah.
Like there's expectations there. And, you know, we've talked about it. Like what the expectation is. There is going to be no marriage.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
So then that's my next question. So you go out with the two guys, that doesn't work out, and then where'd y'all go out? Did y'all go out to dinner, or what was your first date?
Our first date was actually, he came and cooked me dinner at my house.
Ooh, brave soul. You would have to look. You can't leave your own house if you're ready for
Correct.
You must have talked to him for a while.
Yes, we did. We did talk quite a while.
Yeah.
So, and he knew I did not like to cook. He knew that was just not one of my forte.
But he likes to?
He used to cook years ago at a 5-star restaurant, and so he does.
She got her a good one.
So
I think
he does like to cook. So you know that was one of the things that really connected for us.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do remember you showing me all those wonderful looking plates of food. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, ooh, damn, she's getting good.
So I mean, and I was upfront about that. Like, if you're looking for someone to cook you meals and do your laundry, and that is not going to be this girl.
Mm-mm. No, I'm not doing any of that stuff either.
I'm not.
I mean, I probably would if I felt head over heels in love. But, I mean,
I don't think there's a lot of women that cook anymore. I'm the only one that cooks anymore. I don't know why. It's just not. I mean, it's something you have to get into. But if you, like you said, if you're in love with somebody, you're going to do.
I
Different
think
things
if I
for
was
them.
head over heels in love and we did get married and we had a home together and I didn't have to work constantly and
Oh yeah.
you know you have time to spend time together, but at that point you don't really care about going out so much because you built that relationship with them. So like just doing those kind of things at home, like him cooking the meal for you, that's a really big step.
Do you think this is love language?
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does he do other things around the house for you, or just a meal prepper?
No, like, I mean, he does his own laundry.
Mhm.
He takes the garbage out. You know, if I ask him, I'm very independent, like very independent. And that's where we struggle at times, is because I will go and do it and not ask for help. Like if it's to go screw something into the wall, I'll go do that myself. I don't need someone
So
to
you
do
did
that
a lot
for
of
me.
renovations in your own house.
Yeah, I just pulled out a window I wanted out of the house and, you know, pretty much put the drywall back on, put the siding back on, did that all myself. And
Wow.
so that is a struggle at times because I've had to learn to kind of back that off and just ask for help. You know, when, you know, Scott, my husband who died, he, you know, made sure that I was going to be okay.
He made you very independent. So you weren't really independent before you married him.
I was
to some extent, but he made sure
that I was going to be okay.
Yeah.
He, you know, and there were times where I was like, I hated it. I was like,
yeah,
I would swear up and down because I just hated doing the stuff that he was having me do. But now I see why he did that. I mean, because we knew all along he was probably not going to outlive me due to his heart issues and other things like that. But
I mean, I'm very independent too, not to the degree that you are. I'll hire somebody to do that stuff for me. I mean, I'd love to be handy and crafty and all that kind of stuff. You know, that's like, I struggle with my car now because I was used to my ex cleaning the car for me and detailing. I mean, obviously I clean the inside of the car, but there's maintenance stuff that has to be done that I used to work on older cars with him, but not the newer model cars. And so I'm scared I'm going to mess something up or I'm not going to do it right or whatever. So I struggle with stuff like that. And then obviously, I mean, I don't have my own home. Right now I'm living in an apartment, so I don't have that kind of stuff to worry about. But you moved into your own home, took over and started doing all kinds of repairs and renovations. And you did a lot of that stuff probably before you even met him.
Yeah.
I just remember that. So okay. So you have the date at the house with dinner. And so, like, what was your first impression? Were you going to go out? Were you going to invite him back again or go out with him, or you weren't sure, or how'd that work out?
I think after he cooked dinner and stuff and we had conversation, I was
kind of flowed.
Yeah, it just kind of flowed after that, you know, and, you know, it was really easy because we sat and we talked about what we liked, what we didn't like, you know, what we expected from each other, you know, and, you know, kind of just progressed that way. Like I was very upfront. Like in the past, I was always a people pleaser. Like I would make sure that everybody else was always happy before I put myself. And this last time around,
you just laid it out there and told me this is the way. This is the way it is.
No one was going to tell me no, that I couldn't go do something. No one was going to tell me.
Oh, I'm absolutely going to be like that this time.
So I was just not going back to any of that.
Probably going to be my downfall because that's probably going to keep me from dating.
So the marriage thing, did that come up like immediately, or was that something y'all talked about later?
Probably within the first 60 days, it came up that, hey, you know, because I didn't want him to be, you know, there's a lot more to it than just.
Who brought it up? You or him?
Probably me.
Yeah, usually women are a little more intuitive.
And I just said, I'm not interested in getting married.
And what did he say though?
And he's like, me either.
Oh.
So he's like, I did it one time. I don't really, you know, it gets very messy. And there's just no reason. You can still be in a very committed relationship without having that piece of paper.
I think so too.
So
I do too. I mean,
I think they're going to cheat whether they have a piece of paper or not. So,
yeah,
Well,
if they're going to cheat, if they're that type of person, it's not going to matter whether they're married
Correct.
or not. You know,
Yeah.
in the same way, if they're not going to cheat, they're going to be that kind of person where if you're not married, they're not going to cheat, and if you're married, they're not going to cheat. In other words, giving him props. If he's that type of person, then he's just not going to do it regardless. So, you know, doesn't matter if we got a piece of paper or not.
right.
So here's where I have an issue, and I always ask everybody that's here, and I get a little bit different answer. So I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you. So, like, while you were talking to these guys, were you talking to them at the same time? And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Like two of them.
Because you just got on the dating app.
right
You're
because you're
you're not
going
even-
to talk.
Yeah, you're not even really in the get to know stage. You're just putting yourself out there, and you might get a hey, you got to have some kind of approach to. Oh, by the way, what was your approach?
In regards to
When you had to message him, like, there was one of them, I messaged him because he had an American Bulldog, so I gave me something to say, hey, I like your dog, what's your dog's name, whatever. He looks just like, my dog PD or whatever. So, like, because I knew I wasn't going to date any of those guys anyway, so I just said whatever. I picked one guy just because of his dog, but, like, how hard was it to message them?
I think that was probably the hardest.
That's what I'm saying.
Because now there's all these, what do they call them, pickup lines that they use now.
Yeah.
And to me, they're such a turn off.
They are for me, yeah. Unless I know the person and I know their personality, then I look at it differently. It's like you can tell which ones are trying to be funny, which ones are being serious, which ones are trying to be sexual with you. You kind of know. But when you don't know them, you got to read in between the lines. But here you are messaging them. So did you keep it lighthearted like I would have?
Yeah, I think I probably did.
You're
Like,
like,
I didn't
hey,
go
how are you-
into
Yeah,
really,
hey, how are you doing?
hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, what are you up to or whatever.
Yeah.
Not like, when they would message back or something and they'd be like, hey, gorgeous, right away, that's my inkling, like, all they want is sex. So I'm done.
Red flag.
Red flag. Like,
If he starts messaging you good morning, beautiful, the first 7 days of the first week,
because truly, after you meet me, you're not going to say that.
No, it's just that they don't even know you to say
Right,
that. They're
right.
already assuming that that's the role that they need to take. They've never.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be different once he's met you in person, and let's say there's attraction, and but to do that, and you don't even. Like we might be a bitch or something,
Well, right. Well, we all know, like I get called that daily.
Well,
so.
but you just took my role is all it is. Because, they did stop in to see me, which was ironic because we were just talking about them, but they came in to see me and they were like, yeah, you could go back to doing your old job. And I was like, yeah, did I piss Amy off? Okay, so let's go back. So at that point when I said, like, were you messaging other guys, and he comes over to dinner, at that point, did you not talk to any other men? Like, I've tried to figure out, like, what's appropriate. Like, as long as you're in the get-to-know stage, I kind of feel like you can message anybody, right? But at what point do you go, okay, well, I'm interested in this person. I'm going to give it a fair shake. I'm not going to talk to anybody else. Like, is it after you go on the first date? Or, like, do you have to be, like, in a relationship? It's like, I don't know these things. Give me your take.
For me, it was like after I decided I was going to go on a second date, then that was the time to stop with the app because you're just.
Oh, you already stopped with the app.
We had a conversation after the second date that
wow.
we were both going to get off the app at that point.
Oh, wow. So I figured you were going to say, at that point, I just wasn't going to message any men or wasn't going to respond to them, but I figured you kept the app because what if it doesn't work out? And you've already paid for it, because like me, I paid for it for 7 days and canceled it, but, so y'all both are just automatically.
Yeah, we just talked about it and said, right now at this
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, like because my thing is if you're still talking to other people and stuff, you're just opening yourself up. So
I agree.
Are you going to really focus on this potential relationship?
Give it a chance. Yeah, give it a good chance.
Or are you almost putting it in doom? And and my whole big thing is part of the past of like sexually texting or texting other people while you're in a relationship is not cool.
Well, yeah, that's taboo for most women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just not, that to me is one form of cheating, and some people will agree and some people won't agree, but to me that's taboo.
Oh, I
We're done.
think 99.9% of women would agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not okay with me.
And the other percentage, they would agree, but they're probably going to tolerate it, and for whatever reason it may be, that they're not looking for a committed relationship, or they're just looking for sex, or whatever it may be, open relationship, whatever. But yeah, I think most people would agree. So that's pretty cool. After that, that's not bad. So where'd you go on your second date?
On the second date, we went to the balloon festival.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like up in Greenville, Spartanburg area or something. Yeah, upstate. They always have that. That's pretty cool.
They used to do one in Camden. I always wanted to go to the one in
I
Greenville.
think they did have one in Camden.
Oh,
too.
did they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, we ended up going to North Carolina
Mm-hmm.
to see it.
Oh, you went all the way to North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, that being the case, so you've been married several times, lost a husband, now in a relationship, in a committed relationship. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't know. No.
Just kind of leaving it open and letting things.
Well, because my take on it is, once you lose someone, you have a whole different perspective on relationships. And, when you get divorced from someone, you still see that person. So if you have some unleft things that you want to say to them,
Feelings or business or whatever it may
you can
be.
deal with that. But once your spouse passes away, there's no more.
You still have unresolved issues or feelings or emotions or whatever. So,
So I still grieve, just because I'm in a relationship, I still grieve.
We have memories.
Yeah. And, there's still difficult times. And I do have to give Todd a lot of credit, because he's
good with dealing with that.
He's good with that. There's not a lot of men who probably would deal with that as well as he has.
Well, and I kind of feel like you're open and honest, and you probably told him what you were dealing with up front, probably so he would know.
Right.
As far as I feel like I'm the same way too with a lot of the stuff that I've dealt with. I don't know about Hilary. Is that what you would do? Or you don't think we should tell our past whenever we start dating somebody new? I think it's kind of scary. I think it depends on what it is. I think one, if it's something like you're going to be scared to tell them, and you might get in a relationship and it could be a make or break situation, I think you just need to go ahead and tell them up front, let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
And don't even waste their time unless that's something that they can deal with. But then for you, like something like that about past and stuff, I think you could mention little things about it and they would probably understand. You probably wouldn't have to pour your heart out, but you could still, because for example, you
Are
don't
you talking to me or her?
a little bit of both.
Okay.
So for you, past relationships that upset you, and for you, loss of your husband, you don't want to scare them completely off by being so emotional. And I think I told you about it. My ex had started dating somebody pretty quickly after we separated, and he shared with me that the reason why the lady didn't want to date him anymore is because he talked about me. Well, obviously, if you talk about stuff too much, like with you talking about an ex or whatever, in your case, it'd be different because your husband had passed. So he's obviously no threat. But if you're talking about an ex, they always would wonder, are you pining over your ex? You got
the last relationship, I didn't talk about my ex.
As I said, you probably didn't in that
because
situation.
The relationship before that, I told him everything and he used it against me. So there you go.
How did he use it against you?
Just everything that I told him that would break me, he used it to break
throw
me.
it up in your face
Yes.
and stuff.
And that's always one of the things that you have to worry about, is that are they going to bring it back when the first fight happens, or disagreement, that they throw that all back in your face.
Right.
So
that's why I don't know if you want to put all that out there.
Right.
And especially losing a spouse.
I think you have to mention a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe,
I think they're going to ask.
Yeah.
They're going to ask, how many times have you been married? How many relationships have you been with? Or been in, and that kind of thing. But I think some things are better left unsaid.
Right. And there are some things that you just don't tell. Funny thing, I have to tell you this, when I went home and told Todd that I was doing this, He's like, they asked you. He's like,
That's funny.
you know, and I was just like, shut up, you know. Like,
But we want to talk to everyone, people that are in relationships, people that are in the dating game, which is crap, and then, you know, people that have been married multiple times, or people that are in a polyamorous, whatever, I don't know you want to call it.
there's just so much more out there than
There is.
when we originally started dating, and it's just so weird.
I know nothing. That's why I'm like trying to be a sponge and ask a million questions, because I want everybody's take on it, because I just don't get it.
Well, yeah, and then, you know, our
No one
conversation the other day of, you know, where I said, you know, what's the long-term game? I don't know what the long-term game is. I really don't. And, you know, he could not like
Day by day, that's what you're doing.
You know, he may not like me a year from now. We may grow apart. I don't know, you know. But I think the expectations, are different. Like, I remember joking in the office the one day about what we were going to look for, and
Right.
about he had to have a boat, he had to have money, he had to have a motorcycle. Wow. You know, I remember having conversations with individuals in the office about, you know, but you change that when you start to meet people,
Yeah.
you know, and it was all just a joke.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I could go and travel with my friends all day long, but
Well, that's another thing. He likes to travel. You like to travel a lot, and he travels with you.
yes. And
So did he travel before much? Before?
No.
He did not?
No. He had never been out of the country. He had never really, you know, gone anywhere.
Did y'all have a lot of the same hobbies, or did y'all make new hobbies together?
I think we've made new things together.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a lot of like interests. You know, he's from Vermont, so he came from cold weather, and that was one of the number one things we both said. We were not moving back to cold weather. So, you know, we were pretty open of the things we wanted and didn't want up front. And so we just kind of work it, you know.
I would think, like, if you had asked me the question and I was in the relationship and you'd ask me, where would I be in 5 years? Right here. I mean,
We'll still be
because
doing the
I'd still
podcast.
be living my life the same way you're living your life every day now. You have a new routine.
Correct.
You know, you're not per se, I guess I shouldn't say you're not dating him. You're in a relationship with him. And I think it's different when you're just dating people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was telling Hilary, is like, if you were dating people, which y'all made the decision really quickly, you know, not to be on the website and not to date other people. But I think there's a lot of people, and I would probably be one. I probably could go out on 100 dates and still not find anybody that I wanted to be that quickly in a relationship with. So I'd always ask the question, like, how long can you date somebody? And, you know, I mean, I don't want to be going out with somebody on Wednesday and going out with somebody different on Friday. It's like, you know, it's
but
just like,
why not?
I don't know. I just don't do that because I just feel like, I don't know. I just think it's weird.
But it's not weird. Like, it's okay if you're going out and having dinner with, you know, in the dating, you know, it's okay to do that because, I mean, you were in a relationship for a very long time and you were young when you got married.
Yeah, I was.
You know, so you have an experience.
Thanks a lot, Hilary.
You have an experience.
Okay, so now y'all gonna hit me up with the birthday thing now.
Right, yeah.
You're gonna be a year older tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not gonna accept that one. We're just gonna stay the same age. But anyway.
But I think that, you know, it's okay for you to do that, to see, because you really don't know who the real Stephanie is yet. You had a Stephanie, but I think you're going to see I see a whole totally.
Well, that's what my ex said to me. I don't remember if it was on the phone or if it was in person, but it was after we divorced, and he was like, I think you are who you really are, but you couldn't be but you didn't, I guess he was saying that I wasn't portraying my true self with him, but I think I was at the very beginning. But like I told Hilary, and I said it in the podcast, I put myself in a little box and I just stayed there because, like, if you knew you're going to be judged or fussed out for the way you dressed or how you talked to people or what you wanted to do or where you wanted to go or how you wanted to live your life. If you're going to be judged and fussed at, you put yourself in that little box of what their expectations are to keep that drama and all that. And I think I was me at the very beginning, but then he molded me into that person that fit into that box, which suited him. And I'm not saying I'm completely different in that, but I have done a lot of stuff that I normally would not have done now because he pushed me so far. So now I'm just like, I'm not going to say that word, but I'm just like, screw it. So I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And so I've done things that I'm not proud of, and
I think we all have.
Yeah. But I mean, I think I've gone to the extreme of just like, I was on the go for like a year. Like, I spent money I shouldn't have spent. I went places I shouldn't have gone. I mean, you were with me sometimes. I mean, it wasn't nothing terrible. But I mean, just saying, like, I did things that I normally wouldn't have done.
But that's okay because then you get to figure that all out.
Yeah,
what's acceptable, what you want to do today. Because you were in this little box because you didn't want to upset that apple cart for the longest time. So you just transformed yourself to the box. Now it's a whole different, it's like a flower blooming.
Yeah. And I wasn't even safe in that box anymore.
Correct.
It got to the point where it was just like, time to go, kind of thing. So.
I mean, and when you did it, I was finally happy. I was like,
I know you were proud of me.
I was like, finally, maybe something I said or, the story I said finally broke her to do that because she was a miserable person inside because there's just so much pain and so much hurt. And I saw it right away because I was
I could never do no right. And I could do nothing right.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's great. I like to see the person that you are today because you are finally being authentic. Like you can be who you want to be.
I can be myself.
Yeah.
And to what he said to a degree, it is correct. He's like, I think you're who you want to be now or you're doing what you want to do. But it's different because I wouldn't have wanted to do the things that I'm doing had I been in a good relationship.
Correct.
So yes, as a single person, I probably am. But I mean, who is he to tell me what to do? He was dating after 2 or 3 months of us being separated, and I'm still not dating anybody. So judge all you want.
Right, and he didn't heal himself. You don't heal yourself by. I'm a true believer that you don't. Even when you're dating, I think it takes 5 years. I think it's a 5-year thing before you really know that person. I just truly believe that, and
But now we did date for a long time.
Right.
We dated for like 7 years. So, and it didn't change until after we got married. Yeah. I mean, there was obviously red flags, but they weren't like the red flags that you see of these. Like, I could never compare his red flags to the red flags of men today in the dating world. Yeah. Like, he looked like an angel compared to what goes on today in dating for the most part, bashing some good guys. I shouldn't be bashing, I'm sure, but don't take that personally, guys. But the ones that I'm talking about, y'all know who you are. But anyway, so, but yeah, he would have been an angel compared to some of these ones today. He never would have done some of the things that some of these guys do. But then after we got married, it became I feel like a controlling situation. Well, yeah. And he, not to go into all that, but it became difficult over the years, and obviously toward the end it got pretty bad. But so anyway, not to talk about me anymore. So what's going on with you? Hillary's like, throw me under this.
I'm not dating, so there you go.
Yeah, well,
not going on dating apps.
Well, I mean, Amy took the plunge and went on Bumble. Did you tell me if you were on Bumble too?
Long time ago.
I think you told me you were on Bumble.
Long time ago.
Like, how long?
Years. It's been years.
Well, I mean, how long has Bumble been around?
Years.
Well, I mean, I know that because she was on there years ago.
5, 6, maybe 7 years ago.
Probably,
yeah.
Oh, so there's no speed dating for me. Mm-hmm. See, that would be ideal for me. I kid you not. It's like you sit down in front of them and you're like, nope.
Well, yeah, you could weed them out very quickly instead of, because it takes, if you want to be smart about dating, it takes a lot of time. You have to be committed to it taking time.
Yeah, because I'm like, next. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a waste of my time. I just feel like, if it's meant to be, I'm going to run into him. If it's not, then it's not. I think that's the same way with her. I mean, you can't tell her any different. She's not going to get on a dating site. We're not going to get on dating sites. I mean, I think you would do the speed dating with me.
I will
If
go
that
for
was-
moral support.
I think you would. I think you would if they had that going on, like if we could find that somewhere. But as far as like, I don't know what else there is to do. I mean, you got lucky.
I did. I mean, I do have to say I got very lucky because there was a period of time where I was just like, you know what, I don't know if I'm going to continue to do this. And it was probably shortly before I met Todd.
So, how long did it take before you met him? Was it 2 or 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
So-
did he move in with you? And,
Yes.
And got rid of his place and
Yep.
I didn't even think about that. Did he own a house or?
He was renting
Well,
an
that worked out
apartment
good. Yeah.
where he over in
I'd
Darlington.
be like,
so.
I get mad. Don't make me mad, dude.
Well, and you know that's the whole thing too.
I'd rather
It's
go
like-
and stay with him. That way I can out the door. I see that's
Yeah.
me. But that's good though. Y'all kind of knew. Like I said, if you're already talking about getting off the sites together, y'all travel together, you know. Yeah. That's
And
pretty-
you know, a lot of people say that we just click. you
Yeah.
know, and I mean, we still have arguments, and there's still, but I have just, I'm not putting up with nothing. Like,
well, I
you're
think
not giving me an attitude that's just not
he
happening.
probably takes a passive approach to that because you laid it out on the line to begin with. He probably knew what he was going into, and he was okay with it.
Yeah, and it is what it is. And I'm, it may sound really mean, but I'm just not putting up with anything.
See, and that's probably
like,
not only
because it's
Yep.
changed. Your priorities change. How many times that Scott and I sat and said, "Oh, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this," and you know what? We never got to do that stuff.
really.
Because he passed away. So I
But you were
decided-
probably living the day-to-day life and not living your
living,
life.
right. So now I have decided that we all have a date. We all have an expiration date. So I've decided that until that date, I'm going to do whatever I can do and do it now. Like I'm not
No,
putting it on the back burner.
No, I agree.
It's things can change like that. I mean, I was thrown into that in 5 weeks. I had no idea. I had never experienced anything like that. And then there's the whole after he dies and you go through their phones, and that's an experience.
Oh, snap.
well,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about stuff like that.
So you go through, someone that you're married to, and you start going through their phones, and then you start seeing things, and then you get really pissed off.
Do you feel like sharing anything?
I will share because, now at this point, the sex texting to me,
So he was sexting some women?
Yes, and it wasn't the first time, we had, a point in our relationship where we had taken a little break,
Right.
and then we had decided that
But you weren't legally separated.
correct.
Okay.
We had just taken a few months break that we were, trying to figure it out because I had just had enough because I had saw that he had been texting another woman, and that just
Were you still living in the same house?
yes.
Okay.
So then I ended up moving out that time, and then this was
You did move out. See, that's
I
very
did.
similar to what happened to me years and years ago when I caught which is now my ex, talking to someone he knew from years ago. I think it was by like email and Facebook and whatever back in the day. Yeah.
So then so we had gotten back together, and we were going to really work on this. This was the ultimatum.
So make or break time. Yeah.
This is make or break. Like, we are not doing this again. Like, I have dealt with this, over a 14-year period. This is now the third time that I've caught you. That's it. Not doing
Now,
it.
did any of this? Were you aware of it early on in the relationship, or did it kind of?
I would say it was probably 10 years in before I really got a clue.
I think mine was like that. Let's see, I was married. Obviously, I said things changed a lot after we got married, but as far as me finding out for sure, it was like 14 years in.
So after he, so we had gotten back together and I thought we were 100% fully in, and then he had gone to the doctor, got sick, got his diagnosis, and they said, you've got a very short period, what the type of cancer you have, there's no cure for it. You can go do chemo, but all you're going to do is prolong it. It's not going to cure it. You're going to get another form of cancer.
And it's probably going to be more suffering.
Yeah. And so from the time he got that diagnosis to when he passed, it was 5 weeks. So it was a lot of turmoil. So then once he did pass, well, then I'm left to, I've never dealt with this before,
So obviously in 5 weeks, y'all had a lot of other things to discuss. So he never confided or said he was sorry or
no,
it never got brought up,
no.
which I mean, it's okay.
The only one thing he did say to me is, you've got to stop crying every day. Like, I can't do this, and then it was, when I pass, then take your time, but you do need to find someone else, and I was like, okay. There was 10-year age gap. He was 10 years older than I was.
But I feel like based on what you told me, he did love you and he did care about you. He just wasn't faithful in the fact of what you and I would consider being unfaithful.
Correct.
Because even if he did not act on it, whether he did or not, just having the sexting and all that, to me, that's, even if it's not physical, that's emotional. To me, still cheating.
It is. To me, it is.
I can't trust you at that point.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just point blank tell me, hey, listen, we married, but I'm looking for somebody else. That way I can either go on my own way or I can deal with these. Like, hey, I still want to be with you. I still love you, but I'm doing this kind of stuff. Then that puts it back on me to decide. I'm like, I'm out or I'm okay. Right. He's still committed to me, but I got to look at the way his lifestyle has changed.
Correct.
But you never got any of that.
No. And it wasn't until after, because here my naiveness is like, oh, we're full in.
I think I was naive.
I get into his phone and I see that there were 3 women that he had been. And of course, I'm just dealing with the death of my husband. I see this stuff in his phone. So of course,
I ain't gonna lie, my stomach would have sank.
I was devastated because I was like, oh, I'm such a fool. And then, so did he just come back for me to take care of him?
So it was recent things.
Yes, and it was to me it was so bone crushing. Like, that really destroyed me together because I was so stupid.
Do you think that were you able to tell, like, was he talking to those women just in that time? Could you go back and look? Was it just in the time that y'all had separated before you got back together? Do you think it had been going on long term?
I think,
or was it after you got back together?
I think some of it was still going, that it never stopped. Right. I, looking back now, knew that I knew better. Like,
who were these people? Like, were they people he worked with, or?
No, one of them was like a girl he went to high school with, and then one of the girls I didn't even know, and then the one girl was actually.
But was it
like
just,
way older?
Was it just sexting though, or was there any evidence that something else had happened?
No, it was just sexting. Okay. And then of course me in the state of mind I was at the point, of course I got ugly. So I texted them and said it.
Oh,
so here's the deal. Don't show up at the funeral because we ended up having it back in where we were from.
Gotcha.
And I was like, and the one said, you are so ungrateful for what you had. And it was like, excuse me? You have no idea.
It's like, where were you when I was taking care of him?
Right.
What is wrong with you? You knew he was married and you continued to engage. And that's where...
Did they all know he was married?
Yes, absolutely. So that's not only on him, but it's also on,
Yeah,
you just don't do that, you know? As a woman, you just don't do that. You would not like that if someone did that to you. Mm-hmm. So at this point, you just don't do
unscrupulous women, though, in this world.
And, if you're proud of yourself for doing something like that, but yeah, I got ugly and I told them, you come back and say anything else to me, I will post this on Facebook. Mm-hmm. I will send this to your family. I don't have a problem with that because what but I was, I was angry and I was hurt because I was like, how could you be so stupid?
Right.
You know,
I wonder if they knew initially.
oh, they did.
They did know?
Yeah. They for sure did. You know, so that was a big whole thing that, you know, because you have to go through the angry, you have to go through all of the stages, which there's still stages of grief that I haven't. And, you know, Todd is a really good trooper because he understands that. Like,
Right.
you know, I still have Scott's, you know, ashes, his urn, and it's on the mantle. Like, I'm not going to not put that there.
Did you ever get to the point where you went, you know, maybe he was looking for something different and he was dying, but then if you could trace it back to before he knew he was dying and he never said anything, that makes it even harder.
Yeah. So those are all those left, you know, unsaid
Unresolved.
things. Yeah. So, you know, my biggest thing is if you've got stuff that you're, you know, you need to talk to your spouse, your boy, whatever. You got to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that they're difficult, but, you know.
Well, that's like I said, I tried twice a year to talk. I never could get anything back.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then even when, like I said, all that stuff was going on, it just became a knockdown, drag out. Now, that was the one time that he did actually listen, and I think I could have forced the issue, and I didn't. You know, things did change, but, yeah.
They go back to their old habits. I mean.
Well, I just think, like, I changed, and I did ask him to leave, and he did not leave, and instead of... I didn't want to leave my home. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I never did anything that I was accused of. I mean, back then I wasn't even being accused of stuff, but I've never did anything. I would have left the home before I did that. And then I had to wind up leaving my home because of the situations where I felt like what he did warranted him being the one that should have left. So I told him that he should leave, and then obviously he didn't know where to go. He didn't want to go. He had certain standards of how he wanted to live. Where, you know, for me, I'm just like, time to get out. You know, I got to do something. I can't keep living like this. But at that point, I should have enforced it then. I would still be the one living in the home because I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
You know, and so I regret not putting my foot down. So I think, like, for me, one, not wanting to go out and take all the chances of dating and the time and all that. But two, then you've got all the different personalities and the time vested to get to know them and the different people. And then I just can't wrap my head around it.
But I think you will. I think after, you know, I think you will once there's more time. There'll come a point where you're going to be like, okay, I think I'm really ready. There's just so many years of hurt and stuff there that just have to be worked through.
Oh, and I think I can live a decent life without commitment. You know, like I feel like, you know, I'm good, you know, to some extent, but it'd be nice to have that person you could count on.
Right. To go out to dinner, go to a movie, go for a ride, just to have that person. And
yeah, now I'm like calling people like, hey, you want to go get something to eat? And my friends are like, sure, you know, kind of thing. But that's all it is. It's just friends going out, you know,
right,
kind of thing. So no, I get it.
But I think that'll change for you.
Maybe.
I just think it'll take some time.
I think I have to be open to it too.
Right, and that's a different mindset that'll come.
Yeah, I don't like. Maybe it'll be like when I moved out. I just woke up one morning, and knew it was time to go. But like I said, he pushed me into that. I feel like where I don't know what's going to push me into knowing I have to get out and date because somebody needs to push her into it.
No. I'm done. I'm literally done.
But she has dated more than I have. You dated, what, quarter of the United States or half the United
my mom
States?
says half the United States. I say quarter. So.
See, I didn't do all that. I'm like, I can count on, you know.
Yeah.
Probably can count on one, but, you know.
I don't know. You go out with people and then you don't find anything good with, like, you did the talking stage or whatever, and you go out with them. And you're like, there's some things I kind of like about them. I'll go out again. And there's something that's nagging you, though. You know, it's like in the back of your head, and you're like, there's something off with this person.
Right, yeah. Those are those red flags that's the moment.
Yeah, and that's why I ended it. You know, like you go out with them a couple times. So that's what my mom's saying. She's like, you can't go anywhere you see somebody you went out with.
So what do you do? Like, so you go out, let's hypothetically say I start dating, okay, and I go out on a date with somebody. And these are going to be people that I don't know per se, but I've been in the get to know stage, and I go out to dinner with them, and I'm just like, nah, this ain't going to work. And they keep messaging me. I mean, how do you
just politely say,
I
I'm
don't
sorry, I
want to
don't
be
see anywhere.
mean.
No,
Like, I don't want to have
politely
to
say
keep
you're
doing
not seeing
this.
it.
Yeah, I don't want to have to keep doing this. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I have people that message me all the time now and say all kinds of stuff to me. And I was trying to be nice and say, oh, thank you, whatever. And then it just feeds them into, so then I had to just not say anything to them. And then now they're nasty to me because they're like, oh, you don't want to take time to even say hey or anything like that. So they go from one extreme to the other. I'm like, I just don't want to deal with people.
Then you just start blocking.
That's all you can do.
Or I just don't want to deal with people.
Just because you just put.
But I'd hate to put myself out there and go on these dates, and then you run into them in town, you know, and you've had to like tell them no, and they're like get ill, and I'm like, wow. I mean,
Just don't date in this town.
Yeah,
Maybe
just
that's
don't
what it
date
is.
here. You know, like.
But then here's your other dilemma. So, what am I gonna? I mean, so I'm gonna date somebody that lives in another town. So I'm gonna have to drive to another town. See, I'm
No.
old school.
They
You
come to
don't. They come to you.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen either. These people.
Why?
Because do you know what day and age we live in?
I had one come from Virginia, girl. I got.
Oh, maybe
They'll-
I need to hold out for those then.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So
Set my
like,
standards high.
you set your standards, and this is the expectation. If they want to come see you, then you make them come.
Yeah, I
you
want
know,
to work.
don't
I don't need
no,
dates.
Make them chase you.
no more of this people pleasing stuff.
No.
Like, this is all about what you want and what your priorities are now.
Well, I will agree. I've always been independent, and I'm probably going to be like you because I have it in the mindset that I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to do things that I don't want to do. You know, I'm just like, and they're probably not going to like my personality. Now, if they can, like, Todd, you laid it all out on the line, and he's still stuck with you. That's the person I need.
But he's also very quiet, where I do a lot of the talking. You know, he's more reserved.
Me and you are very much alike when it comes to that.
Yes.
It's going to have to be somebody that can be reserved or talk to me and understand me without being demanding, but yet let me have my way to some extent.
Correct.
Yeah, you got to be able to.
And
That's going to be hard.
it'll happen. I mean, I truly believe it'll happen.
Yeah.
Like, I believe it's going to happen for Hillary too.
Yeah.
It's not unless he comes up on a white horse with his sword drawn and.
But see, those don't exist.
Well,
And
see, that's kind of like what
That's why I'm saying that.
one of our friends said. She says, God's, and I've said the same thing. He's going to have to put him in front of me and say, this is him. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
and people are like, well, do you think you could do better, or but it's more about personality to me.
See, and that's what I told
it's
Hilary.
not about how much money did they make.
Yeah.
I don't need someone. I've never had. I should say, I'll rephrase it. I've never had someone who is taking care of me.
Right.
I have.
I damn sure hadn't had
always
that.
taken care of myself.
I've had to take care of
never
myself
had
since
to
I was a
rely.
teenager.
Yes, and so that's a huge thing for me.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's intimidating to a lot of men too. Or they're so used to women now being like that that's what they want. Because I've ran into, and I've told Hilary this, I've ran into men that are looking for the same thing that I'm looking for. So I'm not their person because they want somebody that caters to their needs and like follows them around and does what they want to do and doesn't even ask me what I want. No, not my person.
Right.
Yeah, no.
But why can't you have somebody who wants the same things that you want? Will do the same like
Or
if they don't want to.
compromise.
Yeah, just a big compromise, basically.
Yeah.
Go do the things you like to do, and then you go do the things they like to do. Why is that so difficult?
It's not. It's just, I guess it's having those hard conversations that a lot of people, I mean, you look at where the era that we grew up in,
I think
It
we're all
was-
stuck in our ways. That's what it is.
well, yes, at my age, I am stuck in my ways. I am not going to do things that I don't want to do, and you are not going to tell me no. If I want to do something, I'm going to do that because, one, I got this really good phrase from an individual at work, and I've been using it lately.
Wonder if I can figure out who this is.
So-
Okay.
This is the deal. So if you don't financially support me, you don't feed me, and you don't F me, I don't really have to answer to you.
No, that's
so
true.
It's the 3 F's that I've been, since I've heard that, I was like, oh yeah, but I just have a whole different mindset. Could I have done better? I don't know. But also...
But you're also not looking while you're with him.
Correct.
It's a respect thing. It's a good relationship. He may not like
me 2 years down the road.
Right. It's a respect thing, and it's a good relationship, and you'll see where it goes.
We'll see where it lands. It's still fresh to me. I am a true believer. Like, you really don't know someone until 5 years. That is just a really...
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you ever truly really know somebody.
No, they keep secrets.
They do. I mean, you're right. They do. There's always secrets. I mean, there's stuff that I'd never tell someone, that I'm not proud of in my life. I think we all keep secrets.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just how authentic you want to be in your relationship. Like, I tell people I don't think I've, ever been truly in love.
See, I say the same thing. I told Hilary the same thing. I said, I know I loved him. Because I remember thinking, like, when we would get in an argument, whether we were dating or whether we were married and we got in an argument, which we didn't argue very much because we were both non-confrontational for the most part until toward the end. But I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, I should have went with him, and like, why am I so stubborn, and like, what is he doing, and where is he at, and who is he with, and what's he doing? I kept playing all that stuff over my. Now, I mean, obviously, I don't care. Like, when I woke up that morning, I was, God, tell me, make it right so I can get up and leave, because like, I prayed for 32 days. Like, how am I going to do this? Because I still had feelings, but I wasn't in love. Hilary, what's my phrase about being in love? You know what my phrase is.
I just feel like
I say it over and over and over and over and over. I will know when I'm in love because I would live in a damn tent with them if I'm in love with them. Not that I want to, but I would. It wouldn't matter what you had or didn't have. If I was in love with you, we'd make it work somehow or another. It's not about financial. It's not about, what you got and all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice. Everybody's like, go after the one with money. You can get a guy with money, but
why?
But why?
What's money going to do? They say, money can't make you happy. Well, yeah, if you're with the one that you love, it might can make the relationship a little bit easier. But if you're not with the one you love, that's a poor reason to stay with them.
Yeah. But I always say I don't really know what that is.
Yeah.
I mean, what I thought was love growing up, watching these relationships, I was the baby of my family, and watching these relationships that I watched were horrible. Like, I would have never, my second husband beat me and did such horrendous things that, Stephanie's the one big story. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, that's what I thought love was.
Right.
Like, and that is not what love is. Mm-hmm. And it took me a long time, but
that was a different type of control.
Huge control. Mm-hmm. And it just breaks my heart whenever I see these stories of, even today, like, I was so lucky because all it took could have been was one.
You could have been dead.
Yeah. That, I would not be here today. And that's probably another reason as to, why I do the things that I do, because
you survived.
Because I did survive. It was bad. Like, there were so many nights, that I didn't know if I was going to see the next day,
That's a bad feeling. And that's not what life, we're very lucky to live in the country we live in and have the freedoms that we have, to have to put up with that shit from a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say it just happens to men, because there are women
there are women that abuse.
Yeah, there are women that abuse men too, but to have to deal with that, when that's why I said I'm okay being happy, being just me the way it is, and whether it works out or whether it doesn't work out or what happens or whatever, but I don't want to be miserable in the time that I have left.
Correct. And that is my biggest philosophy.
Yeah.
Is
right but now. I would like to know what being in love was like.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all would.
Yeah.
But what is it? How is it defined?
Yeah.
And maybe someday we'll
I'm
all
getting
see
choked up on that.
Sorry. Think of had a taste of it, but wasn't what it was supposed to be. But maybe I was delusional.
Yeah, but I mean,
this one says she thinks she was in love.
I don't know. I don't even know what love is, because I don't think love is somebody treating you like crap and cheating on you. And,
right.
But I think your heart, whether that person treated you badly or not, I think if you have a connection with someone, your heart is what tells you if you're in love or not, whether they're a good person or not. I never felt that. I never felt like I was in love. I just, it'd be nice to have that, but, doesn't mean we all will get it.
I remember a long time ago, I dated this guy, and he kept telling me, like, we hadn't even dated maybe 3-4 months, and he was, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I was like, what does that mean? I don't think I ever really, I was never in love with him.
Right.
I cared about him.
I feel like men, based on what I've heard talking to women now, that men say I love you first. I never thought. Did Tom tell you he loved you first?
I think so.
Yeah. I think men tell you. I remember where I was when Dean said it, and I was like, I remember going like, excuse me?
Yeah, but why? Why do you love me? Is it just my outer appearance? Is it my personality? What
they don't go, hey, I'm in love with you. They say they love you. I think men have to have somebody.
Yeah.
I think men do not do well by themselves, where we're more all independent. Just women do better by themselves.
And that's where I'll be.
But
that all can change.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Optimist, pessimist, confused individual.
I used to be optimistic. I am not anymore. It's because they keep proving themselves to be what they are.
I just think and we haven't even talked about it with her because she didn't go through it, but you have these, we talked about it in some of the other podcasts, like the love bombing and the guys playing the game, and they act like they love you to get what they want, or they say things to make you fall for them or make you think that they feel a certain way about you, which is false. It gives you a false sense of where you are in a relationship. Obviously I didn't have that back then in the day or whatever. I didn't have to experience that, but I've already some of the stuff these men will say to me, it's just like, why do I even bother reading these messages?
Well, right, because I think that sometimes that they think that we're just so desperate for love that if they do that, then, we're going to take our pants off for them. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, I don't think women are willing to do that as quickly as the men are because of the fact that we have more self-respect for ourselves.
Well, and these people that are doing that, they don't even know who we are.
Correct.
I'm like, how do you... I get it. If it's somebody like maybe you went to school with them and they had a crush on you and they're reconnecting with you after 15, 20 years, and they wanted to let you know they always had feelings for you and they always still thought about you all these years or whatever. I could see maybe going out with somebody like that if you had a connection with that person or you felt like there might be something there. But just a random person.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know me. Because I'll tell you, because half the people, if you do, they're going to tell you I'm a bitch. I'm not taking your shit.
And those are the people, like I said, I don't understand how they think that I'm going to go out with them after talking to me like that. Because, where's this going,
Yeah, but I think that they think that if they say that they're going to smooth you over to be like, go to get in bed with them right away. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think nowadays that, the women are as naive as the men think we are.
So I want to know who the person is that's teaching these men to do these stupid things, because they're all doing it. Did they go to a class? Dating 101, how to get in their pants.
I would have to agree with her. If you look at all the messages, maybe that's why my phone is hosed up. Because I got to thinking about it. My messenger doesn't work. Mm-hmm. I literally, for 4 days, have been trying to figure out how to send a message. I have to cut my phone off to be able to reply to somebody. And I'm in a couple of chats with people, and I need to be able to respond to them, right? So they tag me, and I'm like, let me cut my phone off. Let me try to reply. And I'm thinking, maybe it's all those because I can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and it never ends. I literally can't tell you who the first person was that messaged me when it all hit the fan and started going crazy. I have no idea how many messages, and I'm like, do I need to delete all those? Do I need to just what's it called when you not restart reboot my phone back to
Factory settings.
Factory settings is what I think I'm gonna have to do, because it was on my other phone too, I feel certain, but now my phone just doesn't function on messages. I've deleted the app. I've tried changing settings. I think my phone is just going, stop.
Right.
So I'm thinking I need to go in and delete all that stuff. But if you go and look at all those messages, it's just one after another. Some of them are in foreign countries.
Yeah.
Some are in the same town that I'm in. Some are in different towns, different states. And what am I supposed to say to these people? Hey, beautiful, or you're a very beautiful woman, or you are, or they don't really ask me out per se. That's what I find is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They do more of the love bombing that you're talking about. They don't per se go, I live in North Carolina, but I'd really like to go out with you. Is it possible for me to come out and come down to South Carolina and take you out on a date?
Oh Lord, she's gonna be getting all kind of messages now.
No. My phone doesn't work, so they can just forget it. But I don't per se get those kind of messages. I've had one or two from some old high school.
They want to push
people.
the envelope first.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out what you're looking for, so they're going to ask you all these things, or they're going to tell you good morning, or they're going to do that.
I'm not going to lie. I think they do all that because they want you to chase after them. They want you to drive to Wisconsin or drive to New Jersey. Yeah, they're going to be waiting a long time.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of.
I will not be chasing anyone anymore, anytime, at all. It's not happening. No more chasing. I'm done. So if they want me, they know where I'm at, and they can come get me.
Do they really know where you're at?
Most of them. Quarter of the United States does.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, I think Amy's a good example of things that can work out, and like to see where it goes.
And you never know.
But I think that the way you did it was the right way. Even for a dating website, you know what I'm saying? Because I got off of there. I guess I could have got on one that I didn't have to message the man first. Maybe that's what I should have done. A lot of people told me you're not going to find anybody on a dating app. People have told me that, and I'm just like.
But then I have people that I know that have good
found
luck.
people.
You had good luck.
But I'm like, well, what's the difference between these random people messaging me on Facebook? I didn't ask for it on Facebook. At least on a dating app, they at least know I'm looking.
Right.
So maybe I should have stuck
Did
with
you
it.
look at the thing I sent you on TikTok? Speaking of that,
Did you send me something on TikTok?
I did. So there's this new thing that you wear a white band on your right
I don't
hand.
think you sent me anything on TikTok.
I did.
I probably didn't get it because I'm going to tell you what, this phone's all screwed up.
Okay, white band on your right hand means you're single and looking. And they're trying to start this trend because it's for anybody, whatever age you might be.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to walk up with somebody and you go, oh, well, they're single, so maybe I could ask them on a date.
Well, that would have been
So
better
you
than
have to
what
go
happened this past weekend, because you're like going, he doesn't have a ring. And he's married.
But down here, it's hard too, because where I'm originally from, there's bars all over. So that's where you would meet people. And who wants to meet someone in a bar?
My first husband's there.
See, and I go to a lot of the breweries with my friends, but I'm not going to meet anybody at a brewery with my friends, because if I go to a brewery with 10 guys, obviously, and some of them have girlfriends, some of them have wives, for y'all freak out, and then some of them are single, or have long distance relationships, stuff like that, and then some of them are just single, but I don't date my car friends. But, I don't want to use that word, but one of my friends said, yeah, there's a term there's no way people are going to come up to me.
Block.
Yeah, block's part of it.
Yeah.
They're not going to come up to me at a car event or in a brewery and come talk to me when I've got all these people
Right.
around me. And then, especially like when I'm walking at a car show, even if I'm just walking I'm walking with 3 or 4 men, whether there's women with us or whatever, they're not going to know who I'm with.
Right.
Or if I'm with somebody. So unless they know me, like from social media and know I'm not dating or watch the podcast or whatever, they're not going to walk up to me and say anything, So I'm kind of putting myself in a little predicament.
Well, we'll just have to get her the white band.
That's what I was trying to
Nobody's
say.
going to know. They're going to think the white band means I'm married.
Your right hand,
Yeah.
not your left.
Okay.
That's why they're saying the right hand,
Right
and you
hand.
do it on this finger.
Okay. That was
So-
on TikTok.
It was on
Wait,
TikTok.
everybody watches TikTok.
Yeah. Apparently, I watch too much TikTok.
Yeah, I got some friends that watch too much TikTok too. I went to Walmart and was trying to buy some lotion, and it wasn't even the expensive lotion, and it's in a little lockbox. And the dudes at the end of the aisle put stuff on the shelves like, yo, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with this lotion? Is it on TikTok or something? He goes, yeah, and I'm like, he said everybody's stealing it. I was like, it's on TikTok, so everybody's stealing it. There you go.
That's it.
I'm gonna start advertising myself as single on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. I would probably say no.
Yeah.
Bad idea, huh?
Yeah, bad. Very, very, very bad.
You're
idea.
gonna get all kinds of crazy
Kinds
people.
of. You think it's bad now? Yeah, it
I
would
want to do
be.
the speed dating thing.
Okay, well, if we find one that's not 500 miles away, then we'll do it.
Yeah, I want to do the speed dating thing.
But I'm only going for moral support. I'll be over there going, good going, Stephanie. Very nice. Oh, no, not that one. That's what I'll be doing.
Well, you have to do it too.
I don't want to do it. I just want to go.
I didn't say you had to bring anybody home.
I'll bring my pom-poms.
She-
Woohoo!
You
Woohoo!
never know. She might be able to.
Yeah.
You just never know.
You never know.
And for the ones you don't want, you'll be like, you get that one over there with me. They'll be like, nope, not happening.
All right. Well, so I don't know. Well, Amy, it's been fun.
It has been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming. Unless you
And
got
for sharing.
I know, right? So makes me. I'm not gonna lie. Your experience makes me want to try a dating app again and have a different approach to it. I think, like my mindset. I think I went into it being so scared, and I'm not gonna lie. When I had to message them, that's pretty much what did it for me.
Well, then
So I
don't do
kind
Bumble.
of need to do one that is not. But here's the thing, and you probably ran into this too. Did you feel like you had some that were like, I mean, I know there's obvious scammer looking people on there. All their pictures look like they're in Italy or something.
Yeah.
But did you have some that looked normal, but you kind of thought they were that way too?
Yeah, and eventually it'll come out. Like if you're texting with them, you'll figure it out.
You know, because I had one out of those 5. I had one that said he looked like a businessman. He said he lived in a county over, and that he was going to be coming to our town for work and wanted to meet me for a drink. How would you respond to that?
Well, I probably would have kept talking to him over the next few weeks and stuff, and going to have a drink with him in a public place. Yeah.
But like, let's say I told him no, like it was too soon to go out and have a drink. You don't think he would have been like,
No, you would have had to play it out. If he would have been, okay, well, maybe next time.
He would have respected you if you would have
Yeah,
said
that's
no.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, he turned out to be a scammer. But anyway, so, I mean, but he used, I think he used someone's name
Yeah.
and pictures of someone here locally.
And they do that all the time.
Yeah.
And they do that all the time.
Yeah, and
So-
that's, I really don't want to subject myself to that. I mean, I just
Well,
feel
if you're
like,
going to be on a dating app, you're going to have to subject
Yeah.
yourself to it. So,
And it's going to take time.
hey, but she's right. You're going to figure it out. Like, this is not a real person or whatever. So,
And
you can always take their picture and put it in the Google thing, and it'll pull up everything with that.
right, yeah.
and see, and I could, you also could do, like, can you send me a selfie? But I don't want people doing that to me. That's the first thing I noticed about Facebook. One particular guy, he kept messaging me. I could just preview the message and see, but he's like, babe, could you send me a photo? Babe. I'm like, I didn't message you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I get it. If I had messaged him first,
Right.
I could see him wanting a photo to prove that I was a legit person. Like, I wasn't, but we weren't on a dating app. This was Facebook. And he just constantly kept ding, ding, ding all day long. I had to block him. But it was just all day long. He kept messaging me. He was like, babe, could you send me a photo? Babe, could you send me a photo? I was like, dude, I'm not even interested in you. Why are you messaging me? This is not dating 101 through Facebook.
Yeah, but they use it that way.
But I mean, I think Facebook does have Facebook dating. Because I think I tried that too.
Maybe you need to go back to
I
that.
think I tried that too, but I don't think
It
I
didn't
saw
work for me, but you could try it.
I don't think I saw anybody that was interesting. I think most people look like 15 South. No offense for y'all that live on 15 South that I'm friends with.
I think that's just a thing we say now.
It is. Because there was a situation with my guys, and there was this girl, she was just talking trash to one of my, she recorded it, and she was sticking up for her boyfriend, I guess because he wasn't making his point very clear, and she just was talking trash to my friends, and she recorded herself and sent the tape to the guy, and of course we all been passing it around, listening to it, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, that girl's 15 South. But I said a couple words in front of it, and I'm like, I think she got them girls on 15 South beat.
Right.
Yeah,
I heard a little snippet of that. So
it was pretty bad. Yeah. So, I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm okay with not doing anything. But I want to do the speed dating, and I wanted to do it tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, we failed you in that.
I know. I'm sorry. Big disappointment.
Okay. So, would you come back?
Yeah, we'll come back.
We'll have to do
Hopefully
it.
we'll have comfier chairs by then. So.
Well, you're sitting on the uncomfortable one.
Well, no. Actually, this is more comfy than those.
Is it?
I feel like I'm like this.
Well,
every time
yeah,
I'm sitting in this.
those are the other chairs are the more comfortable ones. But then I have no, I sink in them. They need to be.
I don't know if you know, because the camera's up higher, maybe it'll be a little different now.
Yeah, maybe so.
We'll try.
If I look better, somebody email me.
She's gonna have it all night long. You just invited it.
But I'll get Facebook messages, but I don't read those. So anyway, all right. Well, we'll have to have Amy back on and grill her a little bit more about her past and what's been going on. And this one over here better find me a.
That's I could do that. I'll find you something all day long, but I'm not finding anything for me.
I don't want to do that online thing though.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to do that either.
Yeah, no, that's not going to be flattering.
Yeah.
You'd be like, get from my nope.
I'll have ring lights on you and all kinds of stuff.
I don't even think I would give them 5 minutes on one of those things. I'd go, oh yeah, no. Click. But I think like in person, you get to talk to them, get their personality. You're actually sitting in front of a live person. And
yeah.
I think it'd be kind of interesting. And then there's a timer. Is like a timer on the table or something?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then like I think if you get up to go to the next one and you didn't want to leave the table, that's how you'd know.
Yeah, well, see, it was always the guys moving. The girls were just staying stationary, and the guys were getting up. I know. Come back.
I think if I didn't want him to leave, then I would know.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But we'll give it a shot if she can.
Maybe I'll just have to do it myself. I'll just have to round up a whole bunch of single men.
And better look in another town.
She's going to sit here, and you're just going to go through.
No, it can't just be me.
That would be fun.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
And it'll be live, guys. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. Anyone want to date Stephanie?
We can start setting this up.
I think it's a good idea.
I think we're going to go. Y'all have a wonderful week, and thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.